Hey everyone, thank you for coming today. I'm really excited that we have gotten all the kinks worked out and that Resonant Essentials and myself, Swanda, can go live no matter where I'm at. It's taken me quite a lot to get technology down because, it wasn't ever my thing except way back in the 80s, and that's a whole different story, a whole different life. Anyway, I got to thinking about all the different things that were really important to me when I first started doing this work. And one of the things that I realized is that candles had a fascination for me ever since I was, 7, 8 years old. You could call me a pyro, and that's okay. I probably was. I set the trash can on fire, so it was an interesting childhood, but I always loved burning candles. And I don't know if you have ever done this, but you take a wine bottle and you put different colored tapered candles and you let them melt down. And in the meltdown, you made all these beautiful, intricate designs. And it was great for meditation. It was great for focus. You could just sit there and stare at the candle flame. And as the wax built and the experience built, and I didn't realize it then because by then I think I was 12 when I started doing that. I realized much later that a lot of the things that I was doing had to do with candle gazing, bringing my intuition forward. And those are the things that I want to talk to you about today, because candle work has been with us for lifetimes. We have many experiences before electricity where people would sit by the fire, or they would sit with candles on the candelabra walking through their homes. So candles have been an amazing and intricate part of our lives. There was a documentary done, I don't know, I'm going to go back and say it's got to be like 8 or 9 years ago, where they found this French cave. And in the French cave, hadn't been touched in thousands of years. It dated back to the caveman lifetimes, and they found all the bones of the animals, and this cave was virtually untouched. Nobody had been in it since then, and they've preserved this cave. But what was amazing is the art on the walls, where the hieroglyphics. Boy, I'm having a hard time today. It's all right. So the hieroglyphics that were there reacted to the flame, and you saw the animals moving on the walls as the flame flickered. So we've had this fascination with fire, and it has brought us into deep, meditative, contemplative beingness. And I wanted to talk to you because having that experience is often overlooked. People think they know what they're doing. There's a lot of do's and don'ts to candle work. I remember years ago somebody telling me, you have to dress your candle. So what do you mean dress your candle? I mean, I've been doing this for years, and I know that when I pick up a candle, a votive candle, and I'm going to do prayer meditation, that my intention goes into the candle, the vibration is mine because I'm holding it. What do you mean dress the candle? Oh, you have to make your initials in there. I'm like, why? My vibration is enough. No, you just need to do this. So I did it, and I thought, okay, at what point does this make it even better? So that whole experience that I was doing was the fact that with the candles, people were putting a lot more emphasis. No, you have to be able to read your candle after. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try it their way. And I put my initials in. I put the herbs in they told me to put in. And I put the oils in that they told me to put in. And I let the candle burn with my prayer, my intention. And it got all the way down. And I said, okay, so what does my candle say to you? They said, oh, it didn't work because it's all black. So what do you mean? It's all black. Of course it's black. You had me put herbs in there. You had me put glitter in there. You had me put oil in there. That's going to create black on the inside of the glass. How does that have anything to do with working and the energy of my intention going out there? Well, golly gee whiz, these are the things that people don't want to know about. They want to know it this way. They want it that way. And they make it too much. It's just sometimes just too much effort into making something which is really simple take hold. So that's why I wanted to do this class today. I wanted you to be able to use this information, going back many years from when I first started, and clearing up some fallacies, and also give you some information on what might work for you. Okay, so we're going to talk first about types of candles to use. Okay, I want you to try to get in there. And yes, hi Tracy, how are you doing today? I'm so glad you made it. This is a beeswax candle, and this is probably one of your best candles you can get. Let me know if you have any questions, Tracy. I'm so glad you joined me. So anyway, the beeswax candle is less smoke, it's more pure, and it's better to burn. Okay, now other candles, there's a reason for these candles, but there's also a reason for these. These candles I use for candle gazing, for meditation and intentions. Good morning, Brother Francis. I'm hoping you're having a beautiful holiday. So the beeswax candle, less smoke, less interference in what you're doing in the meditation, the more intensely deep you can get with the flame. Yes, sometimes the beeswax candles will help you if you're allergic to the regular wax. Let me show you what they do here. I don't know if you can see this. This is a silver candle, and they've just dipped the color. Okay, now these candles I use for lighting smudge sticks. These candles I use for deeper meditation. I will say that the beeswax candles are much more expensive, but they're much better in the long run. These candles I use strictly for auric gazing or auric readings as well. Now, these little tiny votives, you can use a tea light, but you really, in candle work, the tea lights are more for, I don't know, things like just diffusing essential oils, that kind of thing. I don't really use tea lights in my work. It's great for when I'm doing some work in magic. It's great for when I'm writing in my book. I do a book called Weaving Fate. It's a great book if you ever get it. It's a way to write your future before you get there. So you're doing your own creative imagination at work to create in your life. So anyway, I use tea lights for that. For this, we're going to talk about how to use this in your 1-day and 13-day ritual. So we're going to have these on hand at all times. You can get them. These are like Illuminati candles. I would use a better quality if you're going to do it with prayer. So try to get a better quality there. Now, these are the 7-day candles. They really don't last long as 7 days. They used to. They used to be a little bigger around and used to actually last 7 days, but they don't now. So we're really hoping that when you get into the 7-day ritual, you'll understand a little bit more why that's important. But you can also get them in a variety of colors. I do not use the ones with saints or anybody on them or any sayings, because my work is going to be done through my intention, my energy, and my writing. So white is always a good color to get. If you can't get 7 of the same color, you want to make sure you get white, because white has all the colors in it. White is the amount of, it's all colors combined. Black is the absence of color. So try to get a pure color, try to get it in beeswax. Sometimes I'll do beeswax in colors. Those are really the preferred candles. They should be, to do auric analysis, you want to take your smaller candle. Where did I do with it? I'm trying here. I'll put it back. Okay, you want to take this and put it in a little holder like that. You want to put it against something black. The minute that you light this candle, you're going, and it's against something black, you're going to get the purity of the light. Okay, so if I set it in front of me here, I have everything that's out here in front of me distracting my eye. Whereas when I put it against the black, there's nothing to distract me, nothing to take me away from my focus, nothing to add to it. You do want to make, I know that this black is kind of lumpy, but you want to make sure it's as flat a black as you can get it. Okay, even if you just pin up a sheet on the wall, black sheet, it's perfect, it's fine. Don't go into a lot of expense. People are making things way more difficult with way too much expense. We need to keep it as short and sweet as possible because you're going to want to do this a lot. Candle gazing is a great way to create a monkey mind and put it to bed. Music, when we listen to music when we're meditating, it's giving our mind some distraction. So we're not really getting the full effect of the meditation. So having the candle gazing, you're just using that as a focal point to zero in on what the higher self wants you to know. When you're doing auric analysis, of course, you put it behind the person and you will see the glow. Again, you want this black background here, all the lights off, and you stare at that person for as long as the candle lasts or as long as you can to watch just outside. You just kind of unfocus your eyes, both with the candle gazing and the auric analysis. You want to just unfocus your eyes and just allow it to see the outside parameters. In that way, you're going to pick up psychic messages, you'll pick up information. One of the things that I was really hesitant to do for people is tell them, you know, you have to listen to your higher self. Yes, a lot of times you're going to get information which is just your busy monkey mind talking to you. But if you do this continuously and train with this, it'll bring you in deeper and deeper messages. You can get messages from your spirit team. You can get messages from family that's on the other side, increase your mediumship. These are all skills that we should be using to train. A lot of people come on, I see a lot of people online, and it's really frustrating because they want to tell you about somebody else's reading. They want you to, so that you'll be encouraged to purchase their reading. I want you to learn to do it yourself because I want you to understand that there's times that you need to go to another person, a reader, an intuitive, a medium, a psychic, whatever you want. But there's times that you need to have the information yourself. So you need to learn to do it. And it does take practice. Okay? Practice makes perfect. Practice also brings you to a higher state of awareness for you. And you're going to get this information hits all the time. Now, we're going to talk about the different novenas, devotions, rituals, any phrase you want to talk about it. A devotion is a prayer of love on behalf of another person. Okay, and let me repeat that. A devotion is a prayer of love on behalf for another person. I'm not a fan, and I'll say it up front, of doing candle work to send healing to somebody without that person's permission. I never mess with anybody's destiny with my own preference of how they should handle their situation. So when I do a devotion, it is strictly to send light and love to support that person through their path. because we don't want to see our friends in pain. We don't want to see our family suffer. And sometimes, even if we have arguments with our family and friends, we want that to be healed in a way that brings us to a higher level of awareness. We don't want it to be lickety split and they're going to do what we want them to do the way we want them to do it. So remember that a devotion is one of prayer for love on behalf of another person, activity, or thing even. You can put love toward an activity. You can put love toward something. Okay? Love is the key phrase here, and it's very important that we get that down to a really good level. Novenas are special prayers for a set length of time. Okay? For example, there are 3, 7, and 13-day rituals. A novena is best done when we are working to build the energy and power toward a situation for ourselves, okay? Even for another, with their permission. We don't want to do this and put this energy out there if we don't have people's permission. That's an invasion of their privacy. Sending, again, like sending healing. We don't know how that energy is going to be received. It could be viewed as an invasion into their personal space. So this is about building energy and working toward that situation for ourselves and others. Let's say you want to build the energy to get a job, a better paying job, or you want to put the energy toward a healthy outcome for yourself and everybody in the world with COVID. These are all very good ways of using a novena. When I say you're not sending healing, you're asking that the situation be healed for people. So in other words, that we come into acceptance of what COVID means to us, however you want to phrase it, but it's not a direct intention to remove or change it for people. Every one of these novenas, rituals, hinge on building the energy with the result in mind. So that's the difference. We can use our power with candle work for prayer. You see people in the Catholic Church, they're always at the candle station. I don't know what it's called. I'm a recovering Catholic, but I didn't ever bother learning all the nuances. I wasn't a good Catholic. It was like a year-long excursion. So yeah, before they got frustrated with me. So anyway, everybody stands at the candle thing and they put the money in the box and they light a candle and say a prayer for somebody or something. This is kind of what you're going to be doing with these on a one-day novena devotion or ritual. It's a 24-hour vigil candle. Okay, if you put them in a container, now if you leave them flat like this, I guarantee you within an hour or two, it's done. Okay, you want to put it in a container so it takes a little longer to burn. You want to make sure that this is done in a way that you write down what it is that you want to have happen. Okay, when you write it down, you're going to write it, light the candle, and seal the paper and put the paper underneath the container that holds the candle and just let it burn. Okay? With a 3-day, you're going to do it consecutively at the same time every day with these candles. Yet again, so you need 3 little containers. Doesn't matter if they're matching. But the words have to be written the same, okay, on each station. So you have to have 3 different papers and 1 to read from. So let's say you choose a time of day that is best for you. So for me, 6 o'clock in the morning always worked for me to do candle work because nothing was going to interrupt my 6 o'clock in the morning. My kids never got out of bed before 6:30. At 6:30 at night, at 6 o'clock at night, my phone could ring. I'm in classes, I'm studying, I'm teaching, I'm doing a lot of different things. And sometimes I'm just plain eating dinner. So 6 in the morning worked for me. If you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's a really good time because the energy is wonderful the traffic is down. There's not a lot of static in the airways. Cell phones aren't being used. It's a great time, but you have to be willing to get up at 4 a.m. Anyway, so you're going to light the first candle, and you're going to read from your fourth. You have 4 papers, all written the same. One sealed, seal all 3. You light it, you let it, you read it, you put your paper face up, down, or face up, you put it down on the altar or whatever you're working with, and you let it burn. At 6 o'clock in the morning, if the candle is still burning, okay, you take an incense, a match, anything. You can even use the paper from the first candle to use it to light from this candle to the second candle, because this will be called the master candle. So at that point, you do the second day. The third day, the first candle is obviously going to be out. If it's out on the second day, just light it from a lighter or whatever. So you're going to light the third candle from the second candle. I hope that's clear. If you have questions, type it in the comment box and I'll answer. But you want to make sure that you try to keep those going, but you want to make sure it's done at the same time every day. That's building the energy, okay? Building the intention, giving that, and give yourself some time for meditation. Give yourself some time to really think about that, light the candle, then go into meditation on that situation. Now, a 7-day candle is one of these bad boys, okay? And the number 7 is a mystical number. We all know this. It's the number of man. 7 seas, 7 continents, 7 colors to the rainbow. Even though we're finding more, ultraviolet, we have more colors that we can't even name because our eyes haven't adjusted well enough. We know they're coming, but for all intents and purposes, 7-year itch, 7 deadly sins, 7 saintly, whatever the 7 saintly aspects are. So 7 is the number of man. 7 is a powerful number in candle work. 7 notes to the scale. See what I mean? The list goes on. Anyway, these are used when more power is needed or wanted. So I'm going to tell you what I did. It's kind of a funny story. I lit a 7-day candle ritual as well, and I did it on Halloween. I started my 7-day candle ritual because I was putting as much power behind this as I could. I was really struggling with how to create a decent salary for myself. I was working for a nonprofit. I was paid less than anybody else in the entire nation for that nonprofit. It was a national nonprofit, even though I was the only affiliate to balance to the penny with their audit. So I knew I did my job and I did it well, but I really was not getting paid well. So I was going to hit it with all my gusto. So I wrote out what my intention was. I did my Halloween ritual. I wrote out all 7 slips of paper have to read the same. I got all the candles. I blessed them. I had them all sitting in my container. And I started my ritual. And my ritual said, I want to make more money than I did last year. I did. And I wish I'd kept the taxes, but I think I was so frustrated. I just, damn it. Because I didn't realistically think it through. I figured I just wanted to make more money. I mean, my head knew, but my subconscious didn't. More money is more money. I made literally 5 cents more on my tax return than I did the year before. So be careful what you ask for. Word it correctly. We can talk about that on that's a whole nother class. But you want to make sure that every one of the 7 papers, even so far as the commas, exclamation points, question marks, everything reads the same. Exact same. With computers, it's real easy. You can write it out, copy it 7 times, and print off that paper, cut them out, and you got it. So you put the paper underneath the lit candle. You don't have to put your initials. You just hold the candle to you. You're going to meditate. You're going to get your vibration really good and tight in there. And it's going to work amazing. It's going to be awesome for you. So when you do this, you're going to have all of this energy built into each of the candles. And you're going to use that same technique of lighting the candles at the same time every day. Okay? So on the 13-day ritual, okay, we are back to the Vigil candle, okay, votive candle. 2 copies of the novena or prayer or whatever you're asking for is written, okay, only 2. So with this, the candle is lit. One of the copies is folded and you seal it with the wax, and the other copy is there for you to read from. You're going to move that paper from candle to candle to candle. Why don't you do this with the 3-day? It's just the way that I was taught, that you're building the energy. The 13-day ritual is much more powerful. You're going to put that waxed, sealed novena under each candle, and you're going to burn it from the flame of the last candle, okay? With the other candles, you can go ahead and you can burn those at the same time, or you can shred them, rip them up, throw them away. I burn all of my statements, all my intentions, all my prayers, anything that I'm asking for, I burn it, because I really feel like I really want that sent back to the etheric, that energy. I just release it to go where it wants to go. That's what my mind sees, but it doesn't have to be that way for you. However it works for you, that's how it works. Now we're going to talk about the different colors and what they mean. So the color black is the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. The color contains all and everything, and it is the initiation into the higher planes. Black candles are reused for remembrance of loved ones who have passed over in spirit. And in clothing, black attracts all colors, and therefore it can be worn with all colors because it's the absence of color. See, black? Everything looks good in black. Slimmer too. So the best day to start the novena or the prayer to be used is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for this work. For loved ones, it is, you want to say something like, true source, grant my loved one may find eternal peace and comfort within the bosom of your love. You know, something dedicated to them over on the other side into spirit. Now, the color blue is the color of devotion and faith. It represents mental poise. Some use this color for health purposes. And wearing darker shades of blue could serve as an attraction to putting on weight. I know, right? I never wear dark blue. And at times can cause depression. So you really want to work with color in a different way. You really want to be more aware of how important color is in our life. The best day to start that ritual would be a Wednesday, Friday, or a Saturday. And for health, you might want to say something like, Spirit, I stand aside from self so you might enter and see my need of health. Purify me and let me be healed. Those are, something plain and simple, something from the heart so that you can get the healing that you need. Now, brown. This is really funny about brown. Did you know, I didn't realize this, and I started watching this. My mother worked for MetroCourt here in town. When she was alive, she worked for one of the judges. And she said, I'd heard this, and I said, can I spend the day just hanging out in court and watching? And she said, sure. Brown is the color of legality, and it's also personal magnetism. And people are very attracted to people in brown, okay? So a lot of attorneys wear brown. I don't know if that's the way they just innately do it or what it was. But yeah, it was like this amazing way of looking at things. And I did. I went and I looked. Very few of them wear black, and they don't wear any other bright colors. It's brown, black, or gray, and most of them stick with the brown. And I thought that was kind of weird. I don't know if they still do it. I don't care to go hang out in the court and find out, but back then it did. So the best day for let me finish. The brown candle is personal happiness, basic magnetism, and to use that candle, you want to attract that energy to you. So if you're having a really hard time, let's say you're over there struggling with not getting along with coworkers, lighting a brown candle and building up that energy and wearing brown can make you not seem as isolated. They'll be drawn to you. They'll come in. They don't see you as a threat. They're not going to challenge you. It's, if you walk in a hot pink, everybody's head's going to turn and you'll be at the center of attraction. And it may not be something that you want if you're already struggling. So brown is the color you want to use for that. Best day to start these rituals is Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's for humility. So the prayer that kind of goes with that is, grant me, true source, that I may daily learn to control my ego, so that humility may increase within me and I might forever rise above the lower self. Sustain me in this desire and need. Thank you, and so be it. Right? Okay, so gold. Gold is always, in psychic development, we look at gold in the universal color concept and universal thought process. Gold is the bringing things in from a past life when we're doing readings. That's what the universal symbol of gold means. Gold is the color associated with good fortune and safety. Okay. The attraction of this color is to bring in and to keep things. So I'm going to say this, and I want you guys to laugh with me. Don't do it for relationships. Okay. Because when we attract the relationship, we're attracting what we're vibrating at. And hopefully we're growing spiritually. So you don't want to attract somebody when you're in a mood of, or an area of need, extreme need, like, oh my gosh, I need somebody to help me with the lawn mowing. I need somebody to help me with fixing the cabinets. I need somebody to do my laundry, my cooking. I mean, never do any of this work when you're in need, because what you attract, you may not want to keep. So be very careful in using the gold for that. But a touch of gold in your personal clothing may be helpful in attaining the positive attributes of the color, as well as burning gold candles. Now, I call these ones gold. You can get them dipped in gold, like I have this one dipped in silver, because gold is a real hard color to really emulate. But so using the Beeswax Candle is pretty good for that, personally. So it's worth it. You want to start these for Tuesday and Sunday. And for good fortune and safety, you want to say something like, I am yours, true source, and unto you, keeping I do, place myself. My needs are known to you, direct and guard me in my needs and necessities. You really want to appeal to your spirit teachers and your guide, because they know what you've written in your destiny plan. And they know which way you're going, and they know what lessons you need to learn. We're down in 3D land, and as enlightened as we can be and struggle to be, we also want to understand that we're creating our situation. So we want their help. So we want to do it. We want to attract and keep what's safe and good for us. And so we need their help. So it's always a good idea to remember you're asking your team, come and help me. Now, green. We know green is the color of monetary prosperity and worldly gain. It's also the color of our heart chakra. Things are different when we're looking at psychic, when we're looking at candle work. It's totally different meanings with different colors. But with green, it's kind of the same thing because we equate that color, that nice monetary green, although I'm looking at the bills now and the green has dissipated into more of a bluish hue. And I guess that's kind of hard for the counterfeiters to trace. And that's good. That's the way of the world evolving and moving on. But to us, we still think of it that way. But it's also good to use if you're sending healing to someone who has approved it, or you're working at receiving healing. So these are the things that you want to make sure that like if you're needing healing, green is a great color to wear. Okay. So the best day to start the novena or prayer is Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You might say something for money. Spirit, I implore you, hear my prayer and grant me my monetary needs. Okay. Bless me with my true heritage so that I may raise myself above the status I have brought down upon myself. Strengthen my faith and direct me to higher and spiritual and earthly goals. Okay, because abundance isn't just about money. It's about really gathering our energy and understanding that having good friends, having a home that doesn't have anything going wrong with it, having a decent car. It doesn't have to be a brand new car to be a decent car. I loved my 1982 Supra. I would not have given that car up if it hadn't been that my son was starting to drive. And he was kind of reckless. So I really had to focus on making sure all of this mattered in a way that it worked. So I got rid of the Supra. But it didn't look all nice and shiny and great. We're looking at when he started driving, it was 95. I loved that car. But it was a great car. Never broke down on me except in my driveway, including a flat tire. So you don't have to have brand new to have abundance. You don't have to have a closet full of clothes and millions of dollars in the bank to have abundance. You just have to have love. Okay, so onward and upward. Orange. Orange is physical vitality and life force. And that's what's associated with this color, as well as mind expression and prana. We want to build that energy, okay? So a touch of orange within your personal space and dress is definitely a benefit to creating that for your attributes. Let's say you had mono, God forbid, you have mono and you're just finding your life, you're just kind of lagging. Putting a touch of orange in your clothing can really perk you up. It can really make a huge difference. It can give you that energy to get through the day as you finish recovering. So when you're doing it, you want to understand that if you're doing a candle ritual, it's for physical vitality and life force. It's, I took a class one time and I had an instructor who told me in Chinese medicine, having an orgasm depleted your chi. And I'm thinking, really? No. So orange sheets? I don't know. There's some things you can do. There's a lot of things that I've heard. I don't always agree with all of them, but I'm sharing them with you because, what the heck? It's funny. Anyway, so physical vitality and life force gets us out there and it gets us seen. So let's say you have to give a talk in front of everybody at work and you really are not feeling it. Maybe you're a really big introvert. Put that orange out there. Light an orange candle to give you that strength to push through it. So the best days for those are Sunday and Wednesday. And for attraction, you want to say something like, may I be a magnet, true source, attracting to me all that is good and just. May my strength repel all that is negative. Grant through my faith and attunement that which I ask now. And then say, hey, I want to get a better job. I need that better job that's perfect for me. And there's lots of different ways you can use candle work. Here is pink. Pink is used for personal desires and achievements. And the bright and lighter shades of pink within one's wardrobe are excellent for weight reduction. So I'm going to go out and get me some pink on. I have a little few pandemics to get rid of. So this color is usually associated with the feminine and blue with the masculine. But this is actually very wrong, because for balance, pink should be used for males much more frequently than blues, and vice versa. And the reason is because we associate it, and sometimes somebody can be too masculine and they need to tone that energy down, or too feminine, they need to pick their warrior woman up. So these are the things that we want to try to think about as we do work with all of our stuff. Pink is also really great for healing, okay, and success. So the best day for this is any day with pink, any day. But when you're doing a novena, it should be started on a Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. Okay, now there's caveats to some of this stuff, and there's reasons for it because of the energies set forward on those days, the intention, what the energy of that day actually means. And this goes back to teachings from a physical trance medium who brought this information from spirit. So for something for success, you might want to write down, it is with faith, true source, I ask for positive assistance in my venture, and thank you for your divine help. Okay, short, sweet, and simple. Purple is highly esteemed by those trying to unfold spiritually. Now, what we do with purple, and I know that I'm going back to days gone by and to past lives, but remember that purple is the color of kings and queens. The king and queen were actually the most spiritual beings, and it was not something done by a lineage thing. It was done by who had the greater gifts and what they could do to help the village survive. So purple was often associated with the head of the spiritual community. Okay, now we've turned it into a royalty color. And it's the highest of spiritual colors, and it has the ability to attract from the higher planes that is all, good and spiritual. And it is the color of deeper spiritual understanding. It is the highest vibratory color that one can achieve upon this earth plane. Now, we're going back years when this was done. I do believe that, there are other colors that are coming in. We're going to see these colors as we move forward, and science moves us forward into seeing things beyond what the naked eye sees. And I do believe that there's an aspect of our life and our beingness that as we grow spiritually, we see more. Our eyes are clear. If you're growing spiritually, you're going to take better care of your health. You're not going to brush with fluoride, because fluoride has a way of creating calcium on the pineal gland. By the way, beets are really great for that. Excuse me. But anyway, purple was associated with the person who had that third eye, that spiritual understanding. So the best day of the week for them for doing the prayers and candle work is Wednesdays and Fridays. And it's done basically for higher awareness. And so what you want to say is, Spirit, may I be a channel for you to use, pouring out your blessings upon mankind. Grant my awareness be quickened, and that I may serve in and with humility. Those are a great way to actually put yourself at service for humankind. I think it's really important that we look at being of service in humankind. because what we're here to do is, hi, Deborah. I'm so glad you came. You're Leo. That's wonderful. I love Leos. They have such energy and vitality. Um, so going in with the red is the various shades of these colors. Red indicates love. It indicates passion and anger. When we're looking at it in the auric energy, you know, when you see red streaked or murky, that person holds a really intense energy of, you can feel that. We sense that with our intuition. Oh, you're always welcome here, Deborah. Always welcome. Hope to see you all often. So with red, the various shades of this color indicate with the love and the passion and the anger. Remember, we're not talking just universal love. We're talking love of self. We're talking love of each other, love of humankind, love of our dogs. We're talking love of cats. I'm not a fan of cockroaches, but I'm sure they have their place in the hierarchy. And one day when my heart opens up again, I'll be able to love little cockroaches just like I love my dogs. We hope. Anyway, the brighter the shade of red indicates universal love or love for all. And it's used many times in churches. It's also, I don't know if you've noticed, but they also use red in restaurants because it's great for digestion. Okay. Because you can relax, you can be open, and the food will flow through you. So red is a great color for dining out in. So the best, every day is a good day for a red candle. There is never a bad day for love. It's never a bad day for asking to be clear of anger or anguish. And the prayer should come from the heart with passion and sincerity. So whatever you write in your candle work, you really want it to come from the heart. And it could go something like if you're clearing something. Spirit, I ask that you flow into me, through me, to remove all negation, sickness, illness, disease, curses, malfunctions, and dysfunctions, replacing them with peace, light, love, harmony, and prosperity. You can do that if somebody needs that kind of love. Always ask if they want you to do a ritual. Like, I had a friend who was going through divorce, and I said, well, first off, you know, we need to do a house clearing. So all of us got together, a bunch of women. We went in and we cleaned her house. We scrubbed walls, we scrubbed floors, and we did everything. Then we all got together, and as only women can do, in a circle, and we asked that for her to be cleared and all of this energy be healed, as well as bring it into the house. Her whole life changed exponentially. She ended up, she stayed there till her daughter graduated from high school. And a little bit after that, she's got a brand new home. It's beautiful. It vibrates to her, and she's in such peace. And she's not angry at her ex. There's no anger attached. I'm not sure what his story is, but for her, there's not ever been since that day a moment of anguish, of frustration. On behalf of her daughter, yes, there was a little bit, but never for herself. So it's really good for us to remember to use red in our candle work to heal us of old wounds. White is the color of purity, faith, strength, and power. Okay? A pure white is rarely found on this plane. Now, I will tell you that the white light that we surround ourselves with, that's the purest light. So it'll be found here, but it's not going to be found in a votive or in any other candle. Okay? So we know that this is a neutral candle, and it's done with helping any of them. Now, I told you earlier, when we're using votive candles, okay? When you're using a votive, if you use the white for the 7-day ritual, 7-day candles, not a votive, 7-day rituals, you can do this. This is what I do when I do my spiritual work. I take this purple vase and I pop a white candle in it. So I have the white that is now purple. Okay. You might ask, why aren't you using a purple candle? Well, because having that around it constantly, I could put a purple candle in it. I could also put a red candle in it. It's just the way I do it because it's the way I was taught to send that purple energy outward a lot more. Kind of in a container such as this, it kind of sends out the energy of the purple, so it radiates out a few feet. Anytime I teach a class, in-person class, anytime I'm teaching or talking, except for today, because I didn't want to be flinging fire around because, I'm a klutz and I might burn myself up. So that's what I do, is I have different bases for different things with using the white. The best day to start those are Sunday, Wednesdays, or Saturdays. And if you do it for purity, you want to say something like, Spirit, may my every thought, action, and deed be pure in heart and mind. May my heart and mind be in constant attunement with your will. Now, when I say this, some people go, well, why are you always talking to Spirit? Why don't you talk to God? Why don't you talk to your higher self? I want you to talk to whomever it is, the energy that you're sending out. Sometimes I do my higher self because sometimes my higher self needs a knock on the head. Sometimes I'm doing my spirit teachers. So true source, that's what, source is what I call the God mind, universal mind, God source, true source. So it depends on where your intentions and directions are going. Excuse me. Yellow. I love me some yellow. It's for intellectual power, mental activity, and spiritual development. Now, let me tell you, intelligence is found in the heart, intellect in the brain. So when you're doing this, your heart always knows the best answer. Your intellect, however, your intelligence, however, in the brain, if you have ADHD like I do, like I had a really bad day on Saturday, I just told my daughter, honey, it is a really bad ADHD day, and I am so sorry. I am trying so hard to focus. We'll have to talk later. And then I went to cooking and cleaning because I could do that standing on my head and I didn't have to think. So yellow, when I need to think and I am not clear, I have yellow candles handy. I have a yellow shawl. You can put a yellow towel around you. Anything that will change that energy within you, the auric field, it'll react. It's great. So the lighter shades of this color, it can also be used, by the way, to get rid of headaches. Yellow is great for getting rid of headaches. Lighter shades of this color are worn to help influence weight loss and to brighten situations which may be dull and lifeless. So let's say you're working on a project at work and you're really needing some inspiration. Yellow candle, yellow clothes, yellow, it will pizzazz it. Sometimes when I'm writing, I will light a yellow candle instead of the tea light because I do need that mental clarity. The negative aspects of this, remember we talked about, your auric analysis. Yellow belly, there was a reason. People saw auras. We did not have all these lights, these, fluorescents and camera lights and all this energy and wiring in the building. We actually lived a much better existence when we were out in the cabin. But we could see the auric field a lot better, and we could see somebody that had the cowardly, and that was the yellow from the third chakra. And it was, remember that third chakra is master of your emotions. And so when you're not a master of your emotions, you're in fear, and that fear looks murky and sketchy and timid and streaked and spotty. So it will bring you to that cowardiceness. Most individuals operate on the positive aspect of this color, but I think lately we've all had that sense of dread. We know Pluto is getting ready to get back to where it was when we first started America, 230 years later, where Pluto's finally returning to where it was when America was created. So there's a lot of decisions that each one of us are making, and people are fearful. They're fearful of going out, and they're fearful of people who wear a mask. They're fearful of people who don't wear a mask. They're fearful of the vaccine. They're fearful of not having the vaccine. I've had people go, well, I've had my vaccine. I prefer to be only around people who've had vaccines. And I'm going, but you can get COVID either way. I don't understand. Why are you living in fear of it? If you're going to be out, just accept it and just move through that. Wear some yellow. It works so much better. So the best day with yellow on the prayer routine is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And for spiritual growth and moving through that fear, you can say something like, True Source, I seek meekness and humility within the awareness of your divine attributes. Strengthen me that I may lift myself above the lower vibratory waves of negation and fulfill my desire with divine love and understanding. Now, a lot of the things that we talk about with candles is that people go through and they think that it is a game that they want to play. Candle work is very serious work. It's very soul satisfying. So what we get out of doing our candle work is that we get to that point that we really understand that all of this, the energy that we move through and the energy that we hold in a way that we can do it, we're still human, and we still have those times that we may not be doing things the way that we want to have them done. We know that we create from our mind. Our visions, our thoughts create our situations. So having the candle work there helps us get back on track when we're in the negative flow of energy. These are things that we can really do. People think that somebody told me the other day, they came in, we had here at the center, we had a Thanksgiving potluck, and we were talking about trance. I have a circle that we do trance work in. And it's a process of training. It's the human self that has to be trained. Spirit doesn't have to be trained. They know how to do this. And so he said, well, you can just say it'd be done. Well, that's fine. But there's times that life gets in the way, and we let fear in the door, and we let our doubts, and we forget that we're magnificent, beautiful beings of light and love. And we should be saying that to ourselves daily. I'm not a real big fan of mantras, although, I think that there are some things that you can say every day. And one of them that I say, I learned from Michael Rhodes. I don't know if y'all know him. He has a YouTube channel. He has a website. He's offering some great classes at a really reasonable rate. He's written 21 books. He's a fantastic metaphysical being of light and love. He's a mystic, a modern mystic is what people refer to him as. And he says, constantly say to every morning when you wake up, say to yourself, I am a magnificent, metaphysical, multidimensional, eternally immortal being of light and love. Follow it up with, I consciously create unconditional love and trust in myself. And if you'll say that every morning and every night, you're going to see some shifts happening in your world. And this is so true. At a time when we all are looking for answers, there are people out there that have them. All we have to do is ask. And if you've been asking and found your way here, bless you. I am so lucky to have you. My heart, tell you yours. And I hope that you'll come by, you'll subscribe and keep the channel going. I have some great people on here that teach. But more importantly, I want you to feel free to ask questions, because I want to help you grow spiritually to the highest and best of your being. With that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Is there any questions from anybody? I'm looking at the chat. Deborah, I'm so glad you came. Brother Francis, you are a blessing. I do lives with Brother Francis. If ever you get a chance to catch some of his, we're going to be talking about state of affairs in the universe and in the world today. We're both spiritual counselors, so we do a lot of work there. And Tracy, I hope you enjoyed the class. My heart to all of yours. Thank you, and we will talk with you soon. Bye for now.